Welcome back, everybody, to the Nemesis Gaming League. We're ramping up with even more playoff games now. Things are getting even more exciting as we're figuring out who's heading to those semifinals. And once again, these are crucial matchups, a lot on the line. But before we get into that, I'm joined by the resident leader of things around here. Some call him the director, some call him the dictator, but all of us call him the person who is responsible for the entirety of Nemesis. What's going on, Austin Rockerman?
Oh, not too much, not too much. I'm excited to get back into the action. Hopefully, this one will actually be played. Unfortunate, the last match ended up in a forfeit. We did get some cool 1v1 action between Wavy and Ultor in that one. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And luckily, we did have a little bit of 1v1 action to keep you guys so you don't have to wait too long for this next one. But wait no more because Snowstorm and the Tigers are both here to play. And a lot of people I know consider this to be the matchup of the night, in fact. Both of these teams, very high level challenger teams, and there's a very good chance that this one goes a distance. Um, both of these teams coming in, even though the Tigers did make that run from the plans, they have a lot of supporters, and a lot of people even think that they are the best team in Challenger. So, Rockerman, what do we got in store for here? Surely a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one. And if we take a look at the playoff bracket here, can pull that up on the screen for everyone to follow along with. We already have the lower semifinals are set between Orbit and Drake's 3 and 7 seeds both advancing on some crazy matches. And actually for these ones, we have back-to-back challenger matchups yet again on the stream. So we're looking at the top here, 1 versus 8, Snowstorm versus Tigers. So yeah, Tigers, they're making that mystical run from the play-in tournament, but merely what we saw last season, we saw Venom. They made the run from 8 all the way to the grand finals and eventually won the grand finals. We're going to be talking more about that one in the next matchup, as that's a grand finals rematch in match 2, which is actually coming up next after this one. But yeah, this one should be really good. The Snowstorm, they finished with the best record in all of Nemesis this season, actually, at 15-3, had the most wins in all of Nemesis. So they were putting on quite the show. And yeah, the Tigers, they made a late season run, had some late additions, pushed through that play-in tournament, surprised a lot of people. But like you said, there's a lot of supporters. If we look quickly at the odds for tonight, they may have a lot of supporters, but it's hard to bet against a team that has only lost 3 times this season. Snowstorm has the odds favoring them, with I believe it's around 62% favoring Snowstorm, 64% favoring Snowstorm, and 35% favoring Tigers. So, despite the support for the Tigers and making that little run, when you have to go from 8 versus 1, it's still gonna be a very very difficult road here for Tigers.
And it's also hard to bet against a team that previously in Snowstorm swept the Tigers in their first matchup of the season. So the Tigers have really turned things around since then, but they have a lot more work. Maybe trying to go for that lucky number 8 that Venom had last season.
Yeah, definitely. So, and hey, I'd love to see another magical run from the Tigers if they can pull it off. But this is going to be the most difficult matchup they've had to date. A couple of those play-in tournament games a little bit shaky. The Tigers still a very solid team, but there were still some struggles in the play-in tournament. And they were able to advance out of it though. But you never know when you're going up against a team in Snowstorm. They've been solid all season long. Been impressive, and I'm thinking Snowstorm still take this one, but I think it's gonna be very close, merely. And there was actually a lot of people have channel points down to this. We actually have 100,000,
Oh
117,000 on
my
Snowstorm and
goodness.
62,000 on Tigers. So they're throwing down these points left and right, trying to figure out who's gonna win.
All right. So I squeezed that prediction out of you. That Snowstorm will
There
win.
you
Now just give me some numbers, Rockerman.
go. Ooh,
What do you
these
think
are
it's gonna
numbers.
go to?
I don't know. I'm going 4-2 Snowstorm. I'd love to see it to go to Game 7. I think the Tigers have actually a good shot to win this series. I think Snowstorm's just gonna be a little bit too much in this one, and I think they'll take this one. But I think it's gonna be a really good series and exciting to watch for sure.
I could definitely see it going that way. I'm actually gonna go the opposite end. I think Tigers are gonna take this in a 7 game series. Due to some critical information. I actually have been informed apparently that all three of the Tigers players have peaked at or gone past 1600 recently within this season. So they're kind of peaking right now, and if they can bring out that level of play, I think they might be able to force Snowstorm to crumble. But right off the bat, Snowstorm, the ones who are gonna strike first, and okay, don't make me eat my words here, guys, but that's a nice goal for Snowstorm to start off here.
Hey, that one just going right by Saucy. Fate there actually put this one in, and we didn't really get to mention the rosters too much, but Fate is actually my sleeper on this roster. We hear a lot about Kaysen, a lot about Local, but Fate, he's a very solid player, been in Nemesis for a while, and could put in a solid goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fate's a name that a lot of people will have heard, and they'll hear it even more often as Fate comes through. 14 seconds, and he's already scored 2 goals.
Yep, there he goes. A nice one right by the defender. And that's actually two really close shots that Fate puts around the defender. And, this is an ideal start. A lot of times, the Tigers or the teams coming from the play-in tournament, they have a little bit of advantage. They've been in this pressure-packed scenarios where it's win or go home. Snowstorm hasn't faced that yet, but clearly in the first 20 seconds or so, it has not phased them one bit.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they needed much warming up. I guess staying in hibernation is where they perform the best. But
Ah.
regardless, they're already up 2 goals, and well, it is still too early to say that they look dominant, but they're definitely putting together some plays. If they can keep this up, it's going to be tough for the Tigers to really find much, but the Tigers have equalized for now, at least in terms of the pressure department. Point and getting scored on. A rate of 2 goals per every 14 seconds doesn't sound fortunate for either team. Kaysen going to fake past one, kind of, actually. Just a bit of a miss there from Peloza in the midfield, misreading the play. And will get sent out. Fate there. Doesn't have the boost to follow, but does get a nice clear down to Ren. He'll try to take control as well. Dunked out by Kaysen, and that one might be dangerous. Tigers escape. And so far, it looks like both teams here opting for the more controlled play style, as that one did go on target. The shot wasn't quite fast enough. Testing the defense. But now that things have settled down a bit, both of these teams look like they are very composed and just trying to break each other down.
Yeah, definitely. So the control play style, I think that's what we saw from both these teams. The Tigers in the play-in tournament and Snowstorm in the regular season. They like to take control. They like to use their mechanics as Fate has an opportunity, but just a little bit wide. Both these teams very mechanical. They'll use the space when they get it, and they can definitely find some good passing plays and some good follow-ups. Because they're Snowstorm really trying to get in that third one right now.
And just as we were talking about both these teams being very controlled, the Tigers making some questionable plays on defense, kind of shooting themselves in the foot with that first double commit off of a very difficult read and some follow-up misses, but they've managed to escape for now, maintaining the scoreline at only 0-2 for them. Well, that bump will not be good. Fate coming down the field with the air dribble, gets the dunk, past one, and we'll get a demo as well. That's a huge play from Fate. Once again, on the offensive side of things, he is just crushing, and there's the hat trick. 2 minutes left in the game, and Fate is doing it all.
Hey, if Fate is playing like this series may be wraps for the Tigers if they are not careful, because this man already has 3 goals, and we just passed the halfway point, the hat trick on the board, and this is an excellent start for Snowstorm.
And I don't know what Fate ate for breakfast today, but I'm going to want some before my match on Saturday because he is playing out of his mind in this game one. The only question for me is if he can keep it up, as Local coming through with an insane save. Won't be able to get back to the follow-up, but it's ridiculous I even got there in the first place.
Yeah, that one was so close and just couldn't find the recovery he's looking for. Brennan Saucy gonna pinch that one in front of the net, but yeah, that can happen sometimes. As Local one is joining the match for a second there, but yeah, that can happen sometimes when you get put in an awkward spot. You just can't recover. And good on the Tigers to keep that pressure. They found a nice demo and finally able to get on the board. Hopefully, for their sake, that relieves some of the pressure off their shoulders and they can start performing like the Tigers we saw throughout the end of the season and the tournament.
Absolutely, and I think that so many goals were scored in the opening seconds of this game that hopefully the Tigers realize it. It seemed like most of the game had gone by, but they still have a minute and 40, and they've been putting together some passes. Saucy up for this one now. Can't quite get the touch. Peloza missing as well, but the follow-up's there off the backboard. Fate with the huge clear, though, and every touch from Fate today. I mean, he looks like a rival or Titan player in this matchup. I can't even lie. He is absolutely popping off right now as he beats another one to the ball. That one maybe should have been a goal, but it'll be a goal anyways. Just passing it back to Fate. It's padding his stats.
Hey, Fade, he may have had to open that in case he tried to shoot it on, and Saucy, that's one of those ones where you're not sure if it's going in or not, and you just have to be there just in case. And Fade, he was camping it. 4 goals in this game for him. I mean, what else can we say? An excellent performance and an excellent start, as he just keeps things rolling for the #1 seed.
And credit to his teammates as well. I mean, it's been all Fate in this game, but they've played a very nice supporting role. It's just hard to see anything happening other than Fate hitting the ball into the net, as with a minute left, 4-1 lead. Snowstorm should be able to hold on to this. Would be tragic if they could not, but this ball's going to be sent up once again. Local going for the backboard. Can't get the double touch. Fate will send this one back in. Tries to get a 50 out. It'll go straight center. Local's there for the touch, and you just knew that ball was going in the net a few seconds before.
Yeah, there's so much pressure here. A huge dunk from Fate off the backboard, and Saucy, he has no shot at this one. He jumps a little bit late, but it's really tough to save this one. A great passing play, and yeah, Snowstorm still just rolling 5 goals already. And I'm wondering, as things go on for the Tigers, they just feel a little bit out of it. I know Snowstorm a very solid team, but they're not like the play-in tournament teams, those 9 and 10 seeds that we saw. As Peloza gonna give him another one here, a nice little one, crossbar down ski, a good demo on the back end, and they find a second, so maybe again, maybe some more momentum for them.
Yeah, a little bit of life there. It was a bit of a free goal for the Tigers, but they did well to at least hit the ball at net and just capitalize on the opportunity they were given. And they might have another opportunity as Saucy tries to get the ball over the backboard. Won't quite make it there. Now with 3 goals to be scored in less than 20 seconds, don't really be doable. Tigers have to look forward and kind of just figure out what went wrong, or on the other end of things, what went so right for Snowstorm and how can they stop it.
Yeah, no, looking into this next game, the Tigers, they have to find a way to get back on the offense. That has been, their play style. They have been the ones controlling the offense most of their wins of recent. And yeah, in this game, it was all Snowstorm. I mean, the shot total is really not too high, but we talked about a controlling game here as the ball finally touches the ground. But we talked about a controlling game, and Snowstorm, they had the control in this game. The Tigers, they got to fight back for that. And I think the key for them is finding some of those demos, because it seemed like I think both of their goals resulted off a demo. So looking for me, finding the demo, knowing that, hey, this team Snowstorm, they're going to be fast as well. We have to match the pace and try to get the control back.
I completely agree, and if nothing else, you can adjust your game plan to just be demo Fate.
Yeah.
He's gonna score 4 goals in one game. Well, he can't score if he's not on the pitch.
That is a very that's a very good point right there. And yeah, I mean, Fade, he had a huge performance. Like I said, I was really expecting Kaysen to be the guy to step up for this team. And like I said, if Fate is playing the way he is with 4 goals in that last game, if he keeps rolling in these next games, it's gonna be very difficult for Tigers to stop when they already have 2 very solid players in Kaysen and Local. And as long as Fate is playing the way he is, I mean, good luck.
Honestly, and one of the things I've actually noticed from watching Snowstorm the few times that I have is that Kaysen, he's got the mechanics, he's got the offensive prowess, but a lot of the times on this roster, he kind of seems to sit back and play more defensively and let his teammates kind of just do their thing and rack up goals. And I mean, when his teammates in Fate and Local are playing this well, then that strategy is going to work out a lot, especially with someone like Kaysen on the back end. That one's gonna float in. Saucy getting the first lead for the Tigers, but I feel like this one should have been saved. Maybe just a little bit of a slow reaction there. Maybe expecting Kaysen.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know Local, he's EU, so maybe he was a little bit behind on the reaction time there, but he definitely could have jumped for that ball. A little bit interesting that that one finds the back of the net. But Fate, oh my goodness, he's coming back looking for the double tap as it's off the backboard. I thought he was going to hit that one. If he would have hit that one, we would have had to put this guy out on watch here because he's looking really good. But yeah,
Oh
that one
my.
interesting goal and a banger clear, and the shot still ringing out. These two teams put on a load of pressure.
And that was almost in from across the pitch on Snowstorm's end of things. That would have been a ridiculous clear into a goal. The open net, unfortunately, was a little bit too difficult, but still Snowstorm with a bit of pressure. They are behind, but it looks like they could score at just any moment. Kaysen trying to 50 this one through. It will be sent out, though. Local there for the follow-up. Peloza a little bit awkward, but nice control on the flick as well. Might be able to get this one on target. He can't. It barely bounces off the post, and I mean, the Tigers really would have been feeling more comfortable with that second goal, especially now that Snowstorm might be getting back on offense. This one set down. Off to the side again. Kaysen coming back with this touch. Ren sends it away. Finally, the Tigers finding a little bit of coordination, but Fate will intercept it and try to take control once again. Tigers seem to have upped their aggression, but only one goal to show for it, and not a goal in the last couple minutes so far. That is a huge demo, though. Taking your advice there, Rocker Man. They're trying to get it through, and Kaysen has to make a last-second effort to save the ball. Barely parries it away, and still Snowstorm escaping unscathed.
And you mentioned, you brought up that point about the demos again. I really think the key for these Tigers right now is finding those demos, and it's opened up a couple of great shot opportunities. It's been the way to disrupt Snowstorm. They haven't been able to handle them too well, so another save comes away there. But yeah, keeping at those demos, keeping that pressure, and you're trying to gain control of the boost, gain control of the possession of the ball, and eventually get even more shots on the net, and maybe they'll be able to add their lead here as they're putting more pressure on right now.
They surely would like to, as they just keep getting demos. I think they actually might be listening to the stream. Is this one going to be sent almost towards the middle? Saucy can't quite make the touch. Low on boost. Unfortunately cannot get there. And Ren up quick to this one. The Tigers just pushing. Looking for that next goal off the backboard now. Could be another shot opportunity. No follow-up there, though. The low 50 will favor Snowstorm. Pass across. No one there to receive. This one will be sent in the middle again. Bren tries to take a quick shot, catching the defense out of position. The Fate gonna be given all the space in the world, and he's gonna opt to go for a solo play. Maybe not the best decision, as there were 3 players ready to free jump and shut that one down. Now Tigers on the other end of things, trying to get one more, and also just trying to avoid conceding their first lead, and they've held on to it well so far, but Snowstorm, as we know, very volatile team, can score at any second. Ren with a nice low 50, huge 1v1 play. Keep the advantage for the Tigers, and now this ball over the backboard will be awkward for Snowstorm. Local sends it away. And a huge miss on the wall from the Tigers. Could be an opportunity. That one's going to bounce free. Peloza barely sends it free, and a lot of offense going on here. The defense from both teams kind of barely holding on.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of offense severely as another shot's gonna go in. Ren, he's adding to the lead. I'll hold my thought for a second as the Tigers up 2-0. You see a nice little pass play from Peloza, and Ren, the defender not ready to make that read, and the Tigers, they finally break through. Only 4 shots to their name, but 2 goals, and with 33 seconds left, Snowstorm. Oh my goodness, are they going to find a kickoff goal? Oh no, it's off the post. The follow from Kaysen is going to go in. Oh my goodness, calamity happening. But Snowstorm now back within 1.
Okay, who told these guys we needed an overtime in game 2? Save it for game 7, all right? What are they
Too early, too early. Sometimes those 2s and the 7s.
They're just building chemistry by high-fiving each other in the middle of the plays. It's all good.
The 2s and the 7s can be confusing sometimes, really. You don't get that bottom part of the 2 in order. Sometimes it can look like a 7,
Yeah, that's true. That brings me back to 2nd grade. I got that mixed up all the time. Well, who am I kidding? Even in high school. But Tigers might actually be about to get another one here. They just have to hold on for 8 more seconds. That was a disastrous play on the last effort, but It doesn't have to end the game as oh, you saw them lining up for the pinch there, and if that one was anywhere close to on target, Tigers would have been sweating, but still, the Tigers hold on, and other than giving up one pretty much completely free goal, a great performance and essentially a shutout of Snowstorm.
Yeah, no, that was, besides the kickoff goal, like you said, I mean, Tigers, they played a really solid game, capitalizing on mistakes. They had a lot more control of the pressure, and still, it was a very close one, really. I would still like to see them go for those demos because I think that is still the difference for Tigers. Like they're playing well, but I think they can play a lot better if they find those demos. But still, they take the 2-1 win, they tie the series up, and set themselves up well going into Game 3.
And not as dominant of a performance as Snowstorm had in game one, but the numbers remain the same. We're tied up in the series, and now this is really anyone's game. Fate, even though he did have opportunities to make plays in the last game, wasn't able to kind of pop off like he did in game one, which, isn't surprising. It would be hard to have that good of a repeat performance. But, that does beg to answer the question, if Fate doesn't absolutely pop off, then what does Snowstorm need to do in order to get these wins? They obviously have to change up something at least a little bit here. Starting off with Peloza with the air dribble, looking for the flip reset, gets a nice 50. Fate will send that away, but how does Snowstorm's game plan here have to change from game one to game three now?
I think you mentioned it. You mentioned it a little bit in the last game. We didn't really finish our point on that. But Kaysen, he's been playing a lot of third man and kind of playing back, letting Local and Fate do their thing. But Kaysen, I love the guy, and I want to see him do a lot more. I think he can do a lot more. I think he needs to be the one controlling this offense for Snowstorm. Because if Fate's not scoring, it might have been an anomaly of a performance there. If he's not scoring, it's got to be Kaysen, in my opinion, stepping up. Like an MVP caliber player that he is. I look to Kaysen, see if he can control the pace and try to get him on the offense, and don't leave him back as third.
I'd have to agree. I mean, that's even something I've seen by playing Kaysen with my own team and rival. Kaysen has that potential to just kind of score goals, but on the other end of things, the Tigers taking another lead, and here comes Peloza adding another one to his stats.
Yeah, this is another guy who has potential to score. You can't give him these opportunities. Peloza right in the middle of the field there, open net opportunity, and he is not going to miss those. Giving Tigers the lead there, a great start for them again as they're trying to continue the momentum.
And so far, they're doing a good job of it. Already in the first minute and a half, game one might be able to get another as Peloza has an open net, and he does not miss the shot. It was not really even an open net, the perfect placement, and a great finish from Peloza once again.
Yeah, Peloza, he is the finisher for this team. I know people are looking at that first game, and I was looking at it as well as like, where is Peloza? He's not playing like he normally does, but I think he's gotten a lot better here in these last two games, and 2 goals to his name in game three here, looking to try to put this team back, in the position that they should be in as he's trying to put a shot on net there.
And they'll definitely feel much more comfortable. Hopefully that, for their sake, that taste of game one has been completely erased from their mouth. They've still got plenty of Rock Lee left to be played as that shot almost on target. And now Tigers are starting to look dangerous with these quick counterattacks. Ren off with the Doomsy dish, and it is good.
What a play here, Ren. He just takes this one up, just waiting patiently, knowing, hey, I just got to flip off the wall and hit this one in. Not an easy shot by any means, but great patience, a great goal. And the Tigers, they are feeling things at the moment. 3-0, and merely now that we're in best of sevens, I wonder when does the tactical timeout come out? I know it's a bit early to think about it, but the way Snowstorm have played in the last 2 games, the way Tigers have played in the last 2 games, including this one, I might be considering it a little bit if things start to really go down the drain for Snowstorm after this one.
I mean, there's definitely the possibility of that. I mean, after such a drastic turn of events from game one to games two, and now game three, which is even more in the favor of the Tigers, you have to kind of take a second and just figure out what happened, because realistically in game one, oh my goodness, almost a insane shot on target by Saucy. Might be able to have the follow-up, but in game one, I mean, it was it wasn't even Snowstorm necessarily who was showing up. It was just Fate kind of popping off and allowing uh for all these shots, and it kind of seemed like the Tigers weren't really doing much to defend against it. But now that they've started defending, they found pressure of their own, and Fate especially hasn't been able to pop off. They have to try and reset and figure out, like you said, get Kaysen involved in that offense and just try to create more threatening plays because since the first game, I mean, they've had more threatening plays in that first game by far than they've had in the following two combined.
Yeah, definitely so. And even just a mental reset, take a little bit, and use the use the 60 seconds in between the game to pause and think about things. That could be it. Or even better, try to get some offense going here. I mean, this game is not out of reach. Just a minute 15. We saw them score 5 goals in game one. They just need to get back to the offense and don't let Tigers keep controlling the pace like they have been.
Absolutely. And Kaysen will try to get one back here. Can't quite find it, and Fate won't be able to get the read. And it seems like, to me at least, that these touches from Snowstorm just aren't really as effective as they could be. They're kind of just playing either banging the ball down the field or trying to get one-off shots on target that aren't really going to amount to much. As Brand looks for a play off the ceiling, gets a redirect, almost on his own net. That would have been a ridiculous own goal, but not quite coming to fruition there. So with 30 seconds left, the Tigers should be able to hold on to a 3-goal lead. It's not impossible by any means to come back. Fate tries to fake, does get past one with the backflip. Let's send it to Peloza, and surely now the Tigers have enough of a cushion. That shot almost good from Saucy, but the Tigers, it really looks like all of the players are feeling themselves so much more now.
Yeah, I think their confidence is up. Sometimes it's the game one jitters. Every time you play in the playoffs, I know they've had some experience, but this is a different animal. This is the playoffs. You're playing the number one team, and I think Tigers really starting to come to their own right now, and they've got a 3-0 lead in that one is very solid. And yeah, there you have it. Snowstorm is actually gonna take my advice. I thought it could potentially be too early, but I think they agree with what I was saying. Is like they need to cut this momentum off right now. So they're gonna take the timeout, and I think we were gonna reset the server as well. For this one, but they're going to take their timeout, take the 60 seconds, and then try to regain head into game number four.
And they really do have a lot to think about. I mean, they got shut out in this game. The last game, realistically, the only goal they scored was off that completely insane kickoff.
Yeah.
And they just don't have any momentum going for them right now. Maybe with this server reset and the combination of the timeout, they can try and take some time, figure out what's been going wrong and how to fix that. But realistically, they are up against it right now. And what do you think is the key point for them? I know we've already talked about Kaysen, but they seem a little bit lackluster on the aggressive end of things as well, as far as demos, boost steals, and just midfield presence in general seems concerned.
Yeah, and I talked about Case, and I still think that's a key here, to try to get them going, try to get Kaysen involved. But on the other end of things, if you're not getting Kaysen involved, I think there are other options as well. Try to get more solid clears. We talked about the battle for control, and Tigers they took that control, and I think the same point can be said for Snowstorm. Find some demos, gain the control back, because when they were playing in game one, it seemed like they had possession all the time here. I'm not just making clears to no one, clears to the other team. Try to find clears to your teammates on the sidewall or wherever, and work from there, and try to use that. Try to use your teammates and take possession of the ball.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. I mean, every player on this Snowstorm roster is a top tier challenger player. They're the number one team for a reason. But these last two games, they haven't. The Tigers have made them look like they're not the number one team, and they're gonna have to try and fix that somehow. Bring out those passing plays. Bring out some of those things that make them the number one team. And if they can't, then one more game and the Tigers are going to be on match point, and that is not the situation that Snowstorm wants.
Yeah.
Surely the Tigers at this point, even with their break, are going to be feeling confident. And To be fair, it seems like more of a team effort on the Tigers end of things than it is on the Snowstorm end of things. Snowstorm just not really working together as a team, and they can kind of channel that chemistry that they're known for. They'll definitely have a much better shot. We head into game number 4 here. Tigers up 2-1. Unexpected after the results of game 1, but they've done nicely to turn things around. Now Peloza going to take control on the dribble. Looks it past one, but Fate will cut it off. Saucy there for the shot, and the Tigers, continuing their momentum, already get another goal.
Yeah, that is not the way you want to start after a timeout. Fade and Kaysen both in the same spot, and locally he's just not ready for both of his teammates to get beat out on the ball there. And the Tigers, they are just rolling right along, looking for this 8-1 seed upset. And Snowstorm, they're gonna have to be really careful as another one is gonna go in, and this is dangerous territory after the timeout. A second one, only 17 seconds in a game 4.
And now we're seeing a repeat of game 1, but this time it's in the Tigers' favor. Already scoring 2 goals in the first 17 seconds. And although they were both off the kickoff, I mean, Snowstorm really not doing much to slow the effort. It was difficult saves all around and difficult plays, but you can't afford to go down 2 goals in the opening seconds, especially not in a series as crucial as this, a game as crucial as this. This is the one that can swing things into your favor or potentially make it near impossible to come back. Let's see what Snowstorm can do as Fate gets it past one. Peloza has to make a difficult save. Does well and finds his way to the backboard, but can't quite get the follow-up touch. Snowstorm will remain on offense. Kaysen circling back around, trying to make anything happen, but Saucy with a huge dunk. And Snowstorm looks like they are ramping up the aggression. I mean, I'm not sure that it's even necessarily a conscious playstyle. They just look like they're getting kind of frustrated that they're not able to score and that Tigers are somewhat getting free goals. And if they can't just calm down and try to play to their strengths, it's going to be a difficult series for them.
Yeah, this reminds me of what we saw in our very first series of the playoffs, that Orbit versus Ascension game, where Ascension they went up 2-0 and then just kind of threw it away, and Orbit came back with 4 straight. That is what this is looking like right now. We saw Snowstorm. They took the early lead in game 1, and they looked solid, but after that it's been all Tigers. They've had all the momentum, all of the pressure here, and Snowstorm, they just look like they're just panicking as everybody's going for fakes even, and the Tigers just feeling himself as Peloza is gonna hit the angle. 3-0 in 3 minutes remaining.
And the Tigers, to their credit, are taking perfect advantage of this kind of desperation from Snowstorm. I mean, they're playing the 50s. You could see that fake that the attacker got there on the defender and then gets the huge 50 off the corner, and the read is perfect. I mean, that is not an easy shot to hit by any stretch of the imagination, especially under pressure. It looks like a very easy shot, but that angle has to be almost perfect for the open net, and he got it with power as well. They just, like you said, look so confident. It looks like everything's going right for them, but this could be an opportunity for Snowstorm. Local with the shot, and they will bring it back within 2.
That is huge for Snowstorm. They need to stop this bleeding. It's been going on for almost 3 games in a row now, and they finally get one there. A fortunate 50 to drop right back down. Local, he puts it in, and hopefully for their sake, their nerves will calm down. They understand, hey guys, we can score on these guys. We can beat them here. Now at halfway, a lot of time to go in this game 4, but they got to battle back here and try to keep it going.
It will definitely not be easy. Still 2 goals to be scored, but plenty of time to do it. This one will go center. Actually, this is an open net, a bit of one at least. Ren can't get back in time, and now, all of a sudden, Snowstorm only 1 goal behind.
Yeah, and that's one thing about when you got a team like the Tigers. They're all so aggressive, so mechanical. You can catch them out on the rotate there. And Fate, he is back on the board now here. And there you go. So another goal, another step towards the momentum in Snowstorm's favor. Now we'll see if they can keep it going and tie things up. And who knows where they go from there.
The Tigers have to be very careful here. If they allow Snowstorm to tie this up, even gain an advantage, the series can slip from them even quicker than they thought. For now, they do retain the lead. A little bit of a double commit. Peloza can't find the follow-up touch. The counterattack will be slow enough, though. The Tigers player is able to get back. Kaysen taking a shot on net. Saucy will deal with that one easily. Fate pre-jumping in the middle. The slow play from Saucy takes a little bit too much time. Now Kaysen will get an opportunity to send this one back. A little bit too awkward for him to do much, but this one's in the center again. Kaysen sending it up to Fate. Ren will intercept and, in fact, try to get another touch. I think he ran out of time for his dodge. The ball is still lingering in the Snowstorm half. Saucy gets this one off the wall, going to try to find another touch. That one's actually going to go straight to Ren, who takes control, but can't get the dribble going.
Oh,
Ball sent almost on target. Peloza barely back in time for that one. And Local coming through kind of out of nowhere. The ball just goes over the net and no Tigers defenders in position.
yeah, first I thought Local was about to get bumped into an own goal there, and then he just comes back here and the ball goes over the net, a miss on the backboard, and Local finishes it off, and now Local is stepping up here. We still haven't seen much from Kaysen, but you don't always have to carry every game, and Snowstorm, a great battle back, right when it seemed like the Tigers had all the momentum. Snowstorm has an open net, can't quite put it in, but Snowstorm, they are still feeling good on the offense here, putting a lot of shots on, and they've come back from 3-0 down, and now let's see, can they take this one in regulation or overtime? Can they tie up the series?
And they've mostly neutralized Tigers' offense in the latter half of this game at least. But they still have some work to do. 30 seconds left. Both teams looking for that regulation win. They do not want the pressure of overtime, surely. Peloza fires this one high. It's going to be an awkward read. Kaysen can't quite get there. Ball sent center. Sauce trying to pre-flip, but can't get the touch that he was looking for. And that's a huge cutoff by Local. Kaysen going to have an opportunity to dribble. Gets it past one. He'll have the flick. It's past another. Peloza barely makes a save, but Fate is incoming. He gets the shot low. Sauce, with his patience on defense, keeps it out of the net, and we are headed to overtime. This could not get much closer, as one goal will separate. And Kaysen, we've said his name so many times, looking for him to show up here, and there he is.
What a kickoff by Fade and Kaysen. We wanted him to get on the action. He snipes the bottom right there. Wow, what a performance there. I was so concerned for Snowstorm with the way that game started, but wow, what a comeback. And now, now it's the Tigers. They got a rebound. The series is tied. It's now best of three. We're confirmed to be going to Forbidden Temple at least for a game 6. But both these teams, they're fighting hard and they're keeping things very, very close.
And just like that, it looked like that game was about to be a repeat of game number 3. I mean, Snowstorm going down 3 goals so quickly. I mean, that mental barrier in itself is difficult to overcome. But they came back quickly as well and just took advantage of some missteps from the Tigers. To be completely honest, it did look like the Tigers got a little bit lazy on defense and rotating back just a little bit overcommittal at times. The Snowstorm took advantage of that, and they were able to come away with the win in overtime, just barely. Now they have to look forward.
Yeah, I want to say merely, this is the difference between your teams that are around 6, 7 in the playoffs and your 1 seeds. Snowstorm, they are a 1 seed for a reason. They've won 15 games, only lost 3. They know how to come back. They get put down in tough situations and they know how to battle back. And that just goes to show how how impressive Snowstorm has been. Especially against this Tigers team who has been running in the latter half of the season, and that one so crucial for them. But now an even bigger game number 5. Winner will put themselves on series point here as his ball in front of the net, but it's cleared away.
And even more so, that just shows the strength of that mental fortitude. The game, in itself is not all physical. You have to be able to deal with tough situations, and Peloza coming through, gets the pass. Saucy there for the follow-up, and the Tigers, for a 3rd game in a row, will score first.
That one, Tigers, they just got a lot of pressure. Peloza, he almost slots that angle, but hitting off the crossbar or the backboard is the next best thing to put it in the back of the net, because usually you have a teammate like Saucy waiting around for that one. He puts it home, and Tigers again. starting out strong. Let's see if they can keep it going and lead into a victory.
And Snowstorm looking to start an attack of their own. Fate with a nice touch almost off the side. Kaysen can't quite get the follow-up. That one a mere pixel from being scored for Snowstorm. Local trying to bring it back around. But the ball is sent away once again. Now Kaysen with no boost to his name. Tries to get a 50, but it won't really favor Snowstorm. Ren looking for the touch. 50 to the midfield. Kaysen will take control once again. We know he loves these dribble plays. Not able to start one this time. Saucy will be coming through, looks to the ceiling, a bit too far away to make much happen though. Still, the pressure is mounting from Tigers. They have to be careful in this position to not overcommit. That was their kryptonite in the last game, just pushing way too far up. Getting scored on either in counterattacks or in positions where they couldn't get back in time. As this one sent to the middle, Kaysen has to get back. Doesn't get the best touch though, and Ren is there for the follow. That one's going to be off the crossbar. Peloza sitting in the midfield, but the clear is there just in time. This one off the post once again, and the Tigers are just hitting every single area of the post or crossbar. Finally, Peloza will put one in, and that goal felt well deserved for the Tigers.
There is just so much pressure for the Tigers. Two demos as well, opening things up, and we talked about it. They get those demos, they get those goals, and Peloza, he had a wide open net to shoot at because of those demos. And Tigers, they will take that, and yeah, like you said, well deserved after all that pressure.
And now they're in another comfortable position, but maybe less comfortable after the result of the last game. They won't want a repeat performance. 2 minutes left. They are up 2 goals. They just have to try to hold on. Now Local getting the touch to the midfield. Fate will get mildly beat. Ren had an open net, if he realized it or not, but it'll just barely go wide. Now looking for the pass middle. Goes for the bump. Gets a bump on Kaysen. A ridiculous play, but the follow-up wasn't quite fast enough for the Tigers. They'll be sent back to their own half as Kaysen gets this one high. Nice clear by Peloza, even getting the double touch. But Kaysen's there for the shot. Once again, closed down. And the thing that it seems like the Tigers have done just much better in this game is closing in on those shot opportunities and going and being there for the 50 instead of just letting Snowstorm have those free shots.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a huge key to victory. We talk about demos, we talk about trying to get the possession, and that's another way to get the possession. Challenge these 50s early, play super aggressive. As another bump comes out, Saucy is an absolute menace.
Wait a second, I think I've seen this one. I've definitely seen this scoreline before. The huge bump from Saucy on Local. Poor guy couldn't do anything in net, and he opens up the pitch, but if I'm the Tigers, I'm getting a bit nervous here that we're about to get scored on 3 times after the last game. Hopefully they have some adaptations to prevent that from happening this time. But Snowstorm, they're back in this familiar position, and you really have to think, they're probably thinking to themselves, how can we stop going down 3 goals? We can't come back every single time.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very difficult to come back from this one. At least in game number 4, they had a lot more time than in this one. But they're going to need some highlight reel plays if they're going to want to make it happen. And they got to do it quickly. But you're exactly right. You can't keep allowing yourself to go down. I'm bringing it back to the first series. Orbit versus Ascension. It's the exact same way. Ascension went down in literally every game, and they came back a couple times. But eventually you're just not going to come back. And I think this is one of those games where Snowstorm probably isn't going to come back from, and they're going to have to be looking for game number 6 to rebound, and then they're going to have to win. If they win that one, have to get to a game number 7. So yeah, they're going to have to find a way here ahead, and they have to look to go next.
And now next is do or die. Snowstorm, well, Tigers will be put on match point to win the series and be sent to the semifinals, but Snowstorm have to win 2 straight games in a row if they want to keep their season alive, and that is no easy task against a Tigers team that looks this good right now. I mean, this is a completely different team than we saw from games 1 and even games 2 and 3. They look like they have found their confidence, and they are not interested in missing shots anymore.
Yeah, no, and definitely so. And I know you mentioned at the get go. I saw some people in chat talking about this. These guys have improved massively from the beginning of the season. Keep in mind the boundaries and the MRs are from the beginning of the season, and you got to give them credit. The Tigers have been grinding all season here. These guys got added onto the team in the latter half. They made a run here, improved quite a bit, and now they're one game away merely from taking down the number one seed in the Challenger League. And if they keep that same performance up for the last game, I think they definitely could. And now Snowstorm gonna have to just find something. I don't know what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to find something here in this next one.
It's really hard to say because the Tigers are just playing so well. I mean, if they play like this against the number one team in Challenger, then is there even anyone who can hold a candle to their performance going on in the semis and finals? I mean, this theoretically should be the hardest series of their season, but they're handling it so well and they're not caving under the pressure. That first game was the most significant loss that they've had in the series so far. And other than that, they've just look almost flawless. And if they can keep this up, it's going to be very difficult for Snowstorm. They'll be looking to hopefully make some adaptations, get some momentum going in their favor because for most of the latter half of the series, it seems like they've just had nothing. Let's see what
And
they
I,
can find though.
And I think part of this too is, Tigers, they're playing really well, but I think Snowstorm, they are just not playing great. Maybe not used to, having teams that are, up to their caliber as Kaysen. He's gonna get on the board. And that's what you gotta do here. You gotta start out early. They get the first goal here, and that is a huge one for some momentum for the Snowstorm.
And Rockerman, that's the first time that they've scored the first goal since game number one.
Hey, what happened in game
Oh,
number one?
well, exactly. But every game since then, they've gone down early. Now, they know what it's like to go up early once again. Maybe they can build, get a little bit of confidence back, and try to build on this lead. It's definitely far from impossible. And they're only one game behind tying up the series completely and sending us to game 7, where I think pretty much everyone was expecting us to end up. But Snowstorm still has a bit more to do. Fate coming through with the flip into the touch off the backboard, and he puts it in.
Oh my goodness, Fate, the man is hitting that read. He's been playing great all series. We saw him pop off in the game number one. He kind of went away for a little bit, but he is back.
And that is a deadly reminder that you cannot let Fate just have free possession. He's going to come through and he is going to smash your door down. An absolutely insane play from the man. And now a 2-0 lead for Snowstorm. They've been able to build on it. Hold up, this one might just go in. What was that read? My goodness, Sauce with the most insane angle you might see all day. Just barely saved away by the goaltender, but what was that?
Yeah, that one, I think that one was a little bit more luck than it was skill there. He's trying to pinch it off the ceiling, but I don't think he's expecting it to go towards the net like that. Fortunately, Snowstorm got back there, and they were able to save that away. But I kind of want to go back to Fate here. We talked about needing the other players to step up, but sometimes it's just not your day, and I think it is Fate's day on this one. And he's got to keep it going. He's got to will this team to victory, and this kind of shows you if you have a very solid three-man team merely when you can have multiple people that can step up on a given day. And we're going to need to see if Fate can kind of lead this team to the end. Is oh my goodness, what a demo from local saving that goal.
That was a huge demo, and now Snowstorm are playing extremely well. That demo was so clutch, and just to even have the awareness to go for it is an insane play there from local. All members of Snowstorm stepping up at the moment. As Fate trying to 50 this one. That'll go middle. Peloza has a double touch opportunity. It's going to be ridiculous. He almost gets the angle. And I swear, this is not a challenger game we're viewing, Rockerman.
These guys are insane. Both sides here, they are just going mechanical shots. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of lost really because these guys, they are so mechanical, and one of these ones is gonna find the back of the net.
and I am scared for which team it will be as both teams look to have so much pop-off potential. It's just who can capitalize and who can keep these insane shots out of the net. Someone will be sent downfield local, looking for the dribble, passes up to Kaysen. Kaysen will get a touch middle, but Peloza should be there. Taking control himself now, looking for the dribble. Gets shut down by Fate. The ball sent right back to local now, looking for the pass perhaps. Can't find it in the midfield. And Kaysen not with the best touch actually. That one's going to be a little bit awkward now. Ren looking for something. Tigers offensive attack sent away once again. But this one read instantly by Sauce, trying to fly towards the corner wall. And things are really heating up here. It seems like both players have found their step, but in this game at least, it seems to favor Snowstorm just slightly, as Tigers haven't really been able to find much. They've had a couple of insane opportunities, but these are not shots you're going to hit with consistency.
Oh, this one actually very dangerous is local. He throws it over the back of the net, but the time is ticking away now merely. And Snowstorm, if they can get one more here, this one's floating towards the net. A nice save. If they can get one more here, they can close it off and get themselves to a game number 7. And a great performance so far, but can they hold on and not surrender another goal?
And only 30 seconds left. It looks more and more like we are headed to game 7. There's no place that I would rather be when these two teams are on the field, especially as Fate coming through with another own goal attempt, perhaps. That one looked a little bit suspicious by the defender, but regardless, with 10 seconds left, should be Snowstorm's game. And I don't think they'll be throwing this one away. Now headed to game number 7, and with so many ups and downs in this series, so many switches of momentum and insane plays from both teams. It seems like both teams deserve this win so badly, but only one of them can move on to the semifinals, and it's not up to the series anymore. It's just up to one game here, Rocker Man.
Yeah, everything that this series has had, merely it's had back and forth. It had, Fate popping off. It had the Tigers all out offense, and it all has led to this: the possibility of the Tigers pulling the eight seed upset over the number 1 seeded Snowstorm. And merely I think now looking at this season and the last season, and depending on the result of this one, I think this is a wake up call for all 1 seeds. This playing tournament has spiced up the playoffs so much here, giving these 8 seeds a chance. And Tigers, they now have a chance to upset here, and it's anybody's game in Game 7. I love this.
Honestly, this play-in tournament has done wonders for teams that before couldn't have even competed in the playoffs, being able to show that they deserve to be here. And even especially, we talked about it before, we'll talk about it again. Venom came from the 8th seed to win grand finals, and Tigers could be facing a similar run if they can just win this one game. But that makes it all the more intense that a number 1 seeded team is at risk of being knocked out of the playoffs in the quarterfinals by a number 8 team. It really proves that seeding is not everything, and anyone can beat each other depending on the day. As we get into game number 7 here, the Tigers did call a timeout. I think that is wise from them after a huge performance from Snowstorm. Try and regain, but head into this game 7. What are some key details we should be looking for, Rocker Man?
We're gonna have to see who is gonna step up as we're getting the server reset merely. So back out
Oh,
if you
my
will
bad.
here. And the thing for me is in this game number 7, we have to see who is gonna step up. I think it's a battle of fate. Fate being the player on Snowstorm, not just the word fate, not the definition, but the player. I think it's a battle of fate, and I think it's going to be a battle of Saucy. Actually, I know Peloza's been scoring a lot of goals, but Saucy has been demoing the heck out of Snowstorm, and it has led to so many goals. So I think if Saucy gets those demos, opens things up for Peloza and Ren, I think Tigers can definitely take this one. But on the other end of things, Snowstorm. We talked about it. They have to control. They have to control the ball. We need to see Fate do some more crazy things. We saw that double tap he hit. If he can do more of stuff like that in this one, I think it's Snowstorms for the take, and it's just going to depend on who is going to step up.
Yeah, this one, it really feels like a coin toss with how these teams are playing. I mean, there have been so many moments of brilliance, and also I will say a few moments where the defense kind of lacks, and a few free goals have been given up. I'm hoping we don't see any of those here in game 7, but regardless of the outcome, you have to agree that both of these teams absolutely deserve the win. Only one of them can take it away. And as I think we are wrapping up the timeout, just waiting on the Tigers to join back up. But the pressure has to be mounting. I do not envy being in either of these teams' shoes, as your heart's got to be racing, the blood's got to be pumping. And another thing to note, Rockerman, is they've dealt with nerves up to this point in the entire series, but this is where the nerves really are make it or break it. If you are the person who rises to the occasion, you are going to pop off. But if the pressure gets to you and you get too much in your own head, then everything can crumble in just a second.
Yeah,
We'll have to see.
definitely so, really. And some people they're built for Game 7. Others they crumble in Game 7. And I got to bring it back. The old adage, merely the team that scores first. So much momentum, especially with the way this series has gone. Whoever has scored first, seeming to win. I think they probably won all these games here. We're gonna have to see who's gonna step up. Oh my goodness, Ren with the read.
I cannot believe it. Just as we are talking about rising to the pressure, Ren, the speed on the takeoff and the precision to get it in the top shelf immediately off the bat, 12 seconds, and the Tigers have shown up in game number 7.
Yeah, that is a huge one there to start things off, and that is just so much momentum for them. And now Snowstorm is going to have to battle back as they're putting shots on net, and you have to recover after something like that.
And here comes Peloza, all players of the Tigers offense firing on all cylinders, and Saucy with the follow-up. The defense just a little bit confused, late to the ball, but already Tigers up 2.
Yeah, Tigers, that one local so close, but the Tigers, they have just started out really strong in this one, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you get that start, and now in Game 7, this is time to clutch up or go home.
Absolutely, and right now, the Tigers are doing the former, but can they hold it on for another 4 minutes? This attack by Fate going to be thwarted. Peloza will have a free opportunity, has an entire net to shoot on, and his shots just do not lack anything. The power is there, the accuracy is there. This man cannot be stopped.
And guess who made that guy challenge early there? It was Saucy looking for the demo, forcing an early challenge from local, and that one finds its way by the last two defenders. But they're just getting so much pressure early, and you have to be very, very, very careful now, merely.
And, I said this man cannot be stopped, but I actually meant to say this team cannot be stopped, as 3 goals coming out from each of the Tigers players, the entire team getting involved in this offense already with a huge advantage over Snowstorm. They have to try to recuperate and try to get something back here, because they're in a familiar position in this series, and although they've come back once, with 3 minutes they have plenty of time, but the Tigers playing this well, it's going to be difficult to find anything. Kaysen trying to get this one off the wall. A little bit of a bump by Ren there, and the Tigers will be able to maintain possession. No longer after locals there, sending it across, but no follow-up there from the other Snowstorm players. This one gets sent out once again. Fate trying to start an air dribble, gets it past one, and the shot from local. Almost good, but won't be able to find it. Now Kaysen looking for the corner. And Snowstorm just struggling to get their feet off the ground, but they have to try to make something happen here quick, Rockerman, or else they are getting sent out of the bracket.
Yeah, they have to get some offense going. They gave up 3 early goals, but we saw the 3-0 come back earlier. They're just going to need to get that possession back, avoid these demos that Saucy keeps throwing at them, and get back on offense here, because they just have not had it going. As Fate try to set it up for Kaysen, looking for the shot, but Tigers save it away.
The Tigers just barely holding on. This one surely will finally go in. Ren still almost gets the block, but Kaysen with the air dribble dunk, and now this comeback is a lot more doable. Only 2 goals down.
Hey, don't go, don't go away, folks. The Tigers may have scored three straight, but like I said, we saw Snowstorm come back and case in the biggest shot of Snowstorm season right there. They are gonna have to keep it going though. They still need two more.
And at this point, Rockerman, I'm sure you saw it as well. Someone said in the chat there that was local coming through with another goal. I'm going off on a tangent, but local is going to make this a 1 goal game. Saucy caught out of position and 2-3 now.
Yeah, I said, wait a minute here. Snowstorm, they have the mental fortitude. They were the number one seed for a reason. They know how to win. They know how to survive. And, we saw the mental fortitude when they came back earlier, and now they need it here one more time. They need to get one more goal as Fate is trying to put it under towards the net. It's going to go in. Fate, they have come roaring back.
And little did we know that game 4 comeback from Snowstorm was actually just foreshadowing for the game 7 final as they come back from the 0-3 lead, and now we're already tied up. If you're in the Tigers position, you have got to be shaking as you've just given up a 3-goal lead, and now you've just given Snowstorm a huge opportunity to come back. But on the other side of things, Tigers looking for their own offensive play. They want to regain this lead desperately.
Yeah, nearly. You mentioned all the Tigers have scored. Now all of Snowstorm is on the board. Everyone in this game 7 is contributing. I said it had to be one person stepping up. I did not think it was going to be all 6, but now it may just come down to one goal to close it out. A minute 30. Their season's on the line.
And this is some ridiculous Rocket League. Definitely looking at some game of the season potential here as this one flying through. Peloza looking for the demos. They're trying to switch up the strategy, trying to adjust and make it difficult for Snowstorm, but Kaysen's shot goes high. Local is there for the follow-up, and now Snowstorm, after going down 0-3, find themselves in the lead.
They are coming back, and the Tigers are reeling right now. Just so much panic. They're double committing. The pass off the backboard. Local is ready, and he puts it home. And the Tigers, they look so discombobulated right now, but they have a minute, and they've been playing well this series. But can they come back?
It only takes 1 goal, 1 minute to score it. Is this one set through, and the miss from the Tigers will not be good enough. That one's going to go on target. Local dives back to make the save, but it's headed back on target again. Kaysen this time. And the defense is holding strong, but that one's just going to float in, and the game is tied once again.
Oh my goodness, this game is back and forth as Ren. He just throws the lofter up, and Kaysen and Fate, I don't know, someone's calling it, someone's missing it, and that is a huge mistake here. But they're still tied. They still have a chance. 47 seconds in regulation.
And I am about to leap out of my chair if we get another lead that instantly dissolves. I cannot believe what I'm seeing on this field right now. 37 seconds to go, and after so many twists and turns, we still remain at an even scoreline. This is most definitely the embodiment of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, but one of these teams will have to be moved, and that could be a flick. Kaysen sends it away. Saucy with the shot. It's just off the post. The follow-up not fast enough. And now Local with his own opportunity. That's not the best touch from Ren. And he will definitely regret that challenge as he sets the ball up. And with 9 seconds to go, Snowstorm take the lead.
It's that panic. It's that double committing. The Tigers, so much pressure. They double commit. But 9 seconds barely. Do they have one more miracle in their underdog story?
I don't think I have the heart to take it if they can manage to tie it up, but Tigers are so close. They are on the offense. They just need one more opportunity. Kaysen sending it out. This one can't be kept up, and Snowstorm, in the most unlikely turn of events, comes away with the Game 7 victory. Oh my lord, what a series.
Oh my goodness, folks. That's what we call a series right there. The Tigers and their upset just falls this close, one double commit away from bringing that one into at least an overtime merely. And my goodness, what a series from these two teams. I mean, Snowstorm, I talked about it. This is why they were the one seed coming in this one. The mental fortitude, the ability to battle back. They were down 3-0 in this game. It looked like it was wraps when we got to the halfway point, but they kept battling, chipping away, goal after goal, and they take this one and they're gonna be moving on.
I just want to highlight that again. How often do
Yeah.
you see a team go down 3-0, 3-0 in the game 7 of a series where they have to win and they come back, not only that, score more, the game's tied again, and the one critical mistake from the Tigers, devastating, but in the end it's really those mistakes that is what the series comes down to. You can't afford to make those, and even though it was one mistake, you really can't beat yourself up if you're the Tigers. All members of the team played a fantastic series and really gave us just one of the greatest showings that I've seen on stream in quite a while. I mean, what a roller coaster. I'm over here sweating just watching that.
I
And
know merely. Yeah. I mean
I
that
don't
was
know
that
how
was
we'll
huge.
I don't know how we'll follow that one up, but we've still got 4 more matches to get through, and you can just see, especially with these playing teams, there's so much potential for these upsets, these crazy series, especially when the teams show up in playoffs. Absolutely ridiculous. But thank you once again to both teams. Looking forward to hopefully seeing these Tigers players, maybe in different leagues, maybe on different teams, but all of them in coming seasons. Thank you for casting with me as well, Rockerman.
Yeah,
Always
no,
fun to have a hype
it
matchup.
it was a great series, really. I know we're tripping over our words here, but and the
Yeah.
next and the next one, it might be even better as we have a Challenger League Grand Finals rematch from from last season, Venom versus Flame. I'm really looking forward to that one. I'll be right back here in a couple minutes too.
Yeah, you'll get Rockerman right back in the booth and maybe another series even just as good, but we are running a bit behind, so we will be sent if we don't have any shout outs. I don't believe there is. If
We
we
got two.
forgot. Oh, we do have shout outs. All right,
I
take
got
them
two
away
quick
because I don't
shout
know what they
outs.
are.
Caden RL for 6 months. I know he subscribed earlier, and then Jiggly Wiggly for the 1 month sub. Thank you guys for supporting Nemesis. And yeah, we are going to be heading to a short break though. Our next matchup, a season 5 grand finals rematch of Venom versus Flame. It's going to be a good one. Stick around, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.